right, and welcome to Fast Break Breakfast NBA Podcast, Thanksgiving Day edition, Croissant Questionnaire Cornucopia of Thankfulness edition. My name's Keith. I'm here on the phone with Jon and Chuck.
Hey now.
There he is. There's Chuck. Jon.
I exist.
Oh, so Jon, you always are loitering around daycares, it feels like, when we do these call-ins. Where are you right now?
Essentially, I'm at an adult at daycare, a.k.a. coffee shop. The saddest of birds. Everyone pretending to be, and I'm just like them. This is my job, you see, as I piddle around doing nothing.
Well,
I hate coffee shops so much, I'm not inside the coffee shop. I'm sitting in my car outside the coffee shop.
Well, you're actually providing a Thanksgiving blessing by not being inside the coffee shop on your phone. So that's good work there. I guess we're going to answer today just a bunch of our listener questions for a special holiday edition. But I guess I should ask, is there anything you guys are thankful for as we stay on brand, on theme? Thanksgiving American holiday?
Broasters
for Chuck. Always thankful. When's the last Broasters you had, Chuck?
It hasn't been it hasn't been recent enough. Whatever the answer is far too long ago. I think like a week and a half, maybe.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah, it was right before I left to New York.
You gotta get on that. Jon, can you?
I'll fix it.
Come up with something you're thankful for in this cold world.
All things. The perfect note struck. The human form. Not having Vivek Ranadive as my owner. The small things. The simple things.
That's pretty great. I am thankful, obviously, for our Patreon supporters spending their own hard-earned cash to support our program and to submit some questions. So we got a bunch of questions. We're going to try to get to as many as we can in our allotted time. I'll go ahead and start reading one. Young Whoever asks, if you could choose the ghost of one current NBA, I think he means player, could be team, could be owner, I don't know. If you could choose the ghost of one current NBA to haunt you for the rest of your life, which player would you choose? So
Bison Deli, next question.
Oh my. It's an actual ghost. Very disturbing. What?
I'm going to keep it in the show's canon. I'm going Bill Robazine.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
For the non-Patreon listeners, Bill Robazine is the player that Daryl Dawkins stuck on so hard he killed himself.
Yeah, you guys are picking horrible, horrible, actual tragic death people. I will.
Okay, I'll switch it to Darko Milicic's impending doom.
I mean, is there any negative consequences to having a haunting?
Certainly. Yeah. Are there any positive consequences to having a haunting?
Oh, no. Well, I mean, what was the Casper the Friendly Ghost premise? What's the premise of that show? Dead child?
Dead child. There you have it. There's your negative consequence.
That's the only bad thing. I'm watching this show Forever on Amazon Prime, and it's about ghosts.
Okay.
And sometimes the ghosts are just bad because you're in the lake house they want to stay in.
In my head, Chuck heard about this new streaming show that everybody's talking about, everybody's going crazy about ghosts. Tried to watch House on Haunted Hill, failed. Yeah, I'm watching this gangsta show about singers. It's called The Tenors.
Is it? Is the Haunting of Hill House something?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
but that's but the House on Haunted Hill. I mean, are these separate entities? Are these remade?
Yeah, because one of them it's a house owned by people named Hill, and on another one I think they just live on like a molehill.
Dude, we've run out of concepts. They rebooted Sabrina the Teenage Witch, but like scary.
Well, I think we should change the podcast name to something about the haunted mountain or a spooky mound of dirt.
What
just to get
we
those
should
clicks.
call it? We need to call it Hail Dark Podcast and squat on the podcast rights of my buddy that owns Hail Dark Aesthetics. He's got a built-in audience. We could kill
Are we
it.
going to do a Red Dead Redemption update yet? Or are we still a Red Dead Redemption podcast?
I think it's a little early in the show for the Red Dead update, but we can.
Okay. All right.
Let me do my ghost. I'm going to pick Michael Carter Williams because I feel like he would be the least efficient at haunting.
He's still alive.
Still alive. Well, I didn't want to. You guys were
You
too
gotta pick
dark.
a dead guy, Keith.
You guys
Let's
went
hear your
with
dead guy.
went with presumed murder and suicide.
No. Let's hear your dead guy. Who are you actually wanting to be haunted by? Who is dead?
Who
do you miss, Keith?
I don't.
Since you believe in these beneficial hauntings.
I'll take the go. I'll take a friendly Wilt Chamberlain. Chase me around. Is he dead? Is Wilt Chamberlain dead?
Yeah. You don't want Wilt Chamberlain in the bedroom while you're having sex, though, because he'll just critique you to death.
Back in my day. Let's move to the next question, also from Young Hueva. Which single uniform in NBA history is your favorite? Which single uniform in NBA history?
Jesus. You asked me to pick a favorite ball, you weirdo.
So recency bias tells me the Heat, Vice City, but and I don't know. It's one of the greatest jerseys I've ever seen. But my first jersey that I ever saw and was like, I have to own that, was a Charlotte Hornets jersey.
Oh, which one?
90s pinstripe stuff?
The teal or the white pinstripe?
The white pinstripe, and then the purple. Remember they had that purple uniform for one season? I think Glenn Rice was on the team, and he had like Nautica sneakers and got injured that year.
Very nostalgic of you, Chuck. So I'm going to take the Denver Nuggets Mile High jersey out of this equation.
All right, fair enough.
That's boring.
And what about the Miami Vice Knights? Are those thrown out too?
Yeah, I'll throw those out. Those are really good. I think, so there's that era in the 70s where like the Pacers and the Hawks had that kind of swoopage swipe going on.
Yeah, so nice.
That's really cool. I think the Seattle Supersonics have had many contending jerseys for best jersey of all time.
I agree with you there. I feel like the Sonics just baseline jerseys were always, I think the green ones, any of their green ones were always awesome.
Very cool. I think the 60s Bullets jersey where there's the two hands going up in the air and they're kind of cartoonish hands.
Oh, that's a great design.
I think those are pretty awesome. But
I wonder if it's just our age being mid to late 30s where I find all the 70s throwbacks just awesome. Like I
went 60s, yo.
I can't get enough of them. I'll take one from my seminal becoming a big time NBA nerd in college. The 90s Bucks jerseys that had the giant green buck head that was purple. That like Glenn Robinson, Ray Allen, Sam Cassell team. I love those now. In the time, I didn't even like them. In the time, I thought they were hideous. Now, I think they're amazing.
I think time will come back and show those to be hideous.
Yeah.
Like I think right now we're experiencing like a 90s nostalgia boom.
Yeah.
And everybody's getting horny for those. But if you compare them to like the classics, they're pretty bad. Like throw that up against ABA Nets jersey. Just doesn't hold a candle to it.
Do you guys remember?
OG Celtics Lakers design just doesn't hold a candle to it.
Do you remember the late 90s Cleveland black and blue jerseys?
Yes.
The Brevin Knight.
Brevin Knight. No, Terrell Brandon.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Terrell Brandon.
Sean Kemp was on that team. I love Sean Kemp. And he was on that 98 team the next year.
Trajan Langdon was early there?
Yeah. But that's
Lamont Murray,
perhaps?
First overall pick.
What?
Not number one overall. He was first round.
Was Calvert Chaney? I'm trying to remember.
He was like
number one.
He was like 13. Trajan Langdon or something.
Okay.
Wasn't Calvert Chaney? Was he a one pick?
I think so. Two.
That's legitimately before my time. But yeah. Let's move the opposite of that. Our boy Love Kebabs.
Sonics is my final answer.
That's it's a good answer. Love Kebab 69 Patreon producer asks. Conversely, what is your least favorite NBA jersey in history besides Spurs camo? Because Spurs camo is the worst.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
all camo basketball jerseys are
can you guys
terrible.
answer so I can pick a new one?
As much as I do have 90s nostalgia, those Pistons horse heads I think are horrifying. They're as horrifying as the actual horse head in The Godfather that winds up in the bed.
That is
the Pistons
excellent
horse head turquoise.
That is a hell steed.
Grotesque. Is the Hellsteed one of the legendary animals you find in Red Dead Redemption 2?
Sounds like I'm mostly killed by horny bears.
Yeah, I tripped over
horny
a rock.
bears, and you got to watch out for water towers. Make sure you never climb a water tower.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of another terrible jersey.
I'm killed by the likes of lambs and shit.
Yeah, I think the Magic, all Orlando Magic jerseys, I have no nostalgia for those either. I think those were ugly. And they've even kind of gone back to them with their city throwbacks.
I definitely have some Magic nostalgia because I got very caught up in the Penny Hardaway Shaq years. So I still think back to those fondly and think those jerseys are better than any they've had, I think. Even though I am anti pinstripes in jerseys, which if you're a Patreon listener, you can find in our Ham and Away city uniform analysis. Second of which will drop on Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Chuck,
remember those old when Mutombo played for the Hawks, where they had the hawk, like a cartoon hawk on his belly with a basketball,
like Black Hawks jersey?
Yeah, I'm thinking. Are you talking about the black ones?
They were like black.
Yeah, exactly
they were the black.
Really bad.
And they had
Mookie Blaylock.
Yeah.
is the guy I see in this?
Stacey Augman.
Yeah.
I will go with. I think the Timberwolves city jerseys are really, really devastatingly bad.
Oh, the Prince?
Yes.
Are you cutting against the grain? You going contrarian here? Because they seem to be universally beloved. Mainly because I think people are afraid to say anything.
It's really bad. Like, that was not Prince's Purple Rain album cover is not an iconic design, folks.
Yeah.
That's just a bad font.
It's been assigned, like, it becomes iconic just because of the music and its place in history. But I'm with you that the actual design itself is pretty funny.
You want to do Prince correctly? Throw an onk on there, or maybe an erection. Get real.
I want to say, actually,
Apollonia's bare breasts instead of numbers.
I think, honestly, this might be recency bias, too. Every Clippers jersey from the last 2 years, it might be the worst in NBA history. I don't understand it. It looks like I designed it yourself on NBA 2K when I don't know how to actually make an artistic design.
I sadly, and I was scolded by this by our guest on the Patreon show, Austin Gray, our logo designer. I sadly have no problems with the newest Clippers jersey, which apparently is just an opinion not worth having.
Yeah, I think it's very hideous.
Also, any jersey with a sleeve is just an affront to God and man.
Yeah.
It's just wrong.
We kind of got rid of those.
Fat people play basketball.
I'm glad those went away.
We wear sleeves.
I will say, we didn't. We're not doing the normal format show. My cream of wheat, if we had it this week, probably was going to be when the Cavs wore their kind of wild and controversial city jerseys this year that are the orange and blue that I think are actually pretty cool. My boy Andrew Harrison wore a white T-shirt underneath his that was just the worst look imaginable. Like, you can't wear these strong, striking colors and then just throw a white T-shirt on there like you're a college basketball walk-on.
Are you ready to come down from Andrew Harrison Mountain after he is the worst player on the worst team?
Andrew Harrison went negative in our negative fantasy league. 2 negatives make a positive, so no. No, I am not. Let's move to another question from Love Kebab 69. Best NBA player transformations, ? For example,
what does that mean?
For example, pretty boy Ricky Rubio to swarthy Ricardo. So transformations.
So just like aesthetically.
Aesthetically, transformations of guys throughout their career. I can go first. Mine is Blinn City Junior College graduate Chris the Birdman Anderson from when he joined the NBA. Of just like a goofy looking hick to now the Birdman that we all know and love, the tatted up, fancy hair, spiked up.
So
Birdman
you're going
persona.
with the Rodman, Robert Swift life falling apart maneuver. I like it. I respect it.
Well, you just took 2 on your own.
No, I'm not going that way. Do you remember when the Pacers all shaved their heads and Rick Smits looked like Bull from Night Court?
Because like the worst team ever to choose to shave their heads.
Oh my God. Although somehow Reggie Miller looking like Nosferatu was a better look because if you go back and look at Reggie Miller's fade, it's the worst fade